Coach Teeden, we are back. What's up, man?
We are back indeed, man, with an exciting episode for myself. I'm being a little selfish here because I'm going into a new role this year as an assistant coach, and this guy has done an amazing job at that role. So I can't really wait to dive in and talk to Coach Taylor about his role and what he's done and his success. So I'm excited about tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned it. We have Woody Taylor, who's the associate head coach at UNC Ashville. And wow, what a job they have done there, him and Coach Morrell, in the last 6 years. I've been to UNC Asheville. I worked at High Point, and I know it has some tradition, but I thought it was going to be a tough place to compete year in, year out, even though the coach we went against was really good. But Coach Taylor's been a college coach for 12 years. We have a great connection with him we have like a lot of Eckerd College stuff going on. So we're pretty pumped to have him on. Actually, before we get into the title question, Coach Taylor, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing very well, man. Thank you guys for having me on this evening. I'm looking forward to it.
We're pumped too. And I know I told you the title question was going to be, how are you wired? And we're going to ask you that, but we got to start with a better question. How has Jeremy Schiller, former podcast guest, impacted your life as a human being?
Coach Schiller is a phenomenal coach, but is an even better person. He's somebody that I talk to literally once a week, whether it's via text, on the phone. He's impacted me in ways that, I never thought that he would. Like, for example, Coach Schiller just had his first kid, right? Like, he just had his first one, and I'm getting ready to have my first kid. And so, like,
Yes.
those are things that him and I have been talking about. We're not really discussing ball screen defense as much. We're talking about crib building, right? Like, those are the things that are coming up in our conversations now. So to be able to sustain that relationship from our days at Eckerd together to where we are now, me up at Asheville and him over at IMG, it's been very fulfilling. I actually just saw Coach Schiller probably about a month ago, a little over a month ago. I went down to St. Petersburg and we had dinner downtown St. Pete, and it was as if we had never split ways, man. Just the laughs and the stories and the ability to reminisce and just being around good people is special. And that's one of the reasons why Eckerd is such a great place. And that's why you guys continue to go to the well of Eckerd people to be on this podcast.
No doubt.
No doubt. And I don't know, St. Pete now looks like Nashville. Like they've done like an amazing job getting that thing up and rolling. And yeah, Jeremy was awesome. After that dinner, that's when he and I talked on his drive home, and he said, you need to get Woody on there. But let's go ahead and get going, man. How are you wired?
Yeah, man, I'm wired differently than most people. I would say if I had to describe it in 5 words, it would be humility, excellence, accountability, resilience, and togetherness, right? Like those are the things that make me who I am, right? Like my humility, playing at the Division II level, playing for a guy named Tom Ryan, who on my official visit was changing the light bulbs in the score clock, taught me everything I needed to know about coaching, right? That's where my humility stems from. My standard of excellence has been instilled in me from my parents, right? Like this is how I was wired growing up. You don't get to just get up and go outside and play on Saturdays. You got to do the dishes, and then you got to clean the bathroom, and then you got to make your bed, and then you can do those things. So that standard of excellence and habit building was instilled in me through my parents. Ability is something that I'm really big in, and that's something that you know, I continue to grow in with myself, right? Holding myself to an extremely high standard. That was instilled in me from my high school coach, Travis Jones, Winter Springs High School. He actually looked me in my face when I was acting a certain way amongst some of my other teammates, and he said, "You're not like them. Don't try to be like them." And that was the biggest form of love that any coach has ever shown me. When I was trying to go with the crowd, he said, "You're not like them," and he held me accountable in that moment. And that's when I figured out, yeah, I probably want to be like this guy. Billions, man. Like I didn't have 35 offers coming out of high school. I didn't have that. I didn't have the biggest job. I didn't get offered at University of Florida to go be a graduate assistant. People weren't beating down my door to hire me, right? Everything that I've got, everything that I have gotten, I've had to be resilient and really go get it. And then togetherness is kind of just who I am. I think by nature, I'm a connector. I'm somebody who wants to connect UNC Asheville to the campus and the campus to the community and the community to the state. Like that's who I am as a person. I mean, I do a really good job of trying to connect with our players as well. So all of those things, humility, excellence, accountability, resilience, and togetherness, if you spell it out, it's an acronym and it spells heart. And that's where everything that I do stems from. Everything that I do stems from my heart, whether it's I'm recruiting somebody, whether it's we're working somebody out in the gym, whether it's we're having a podcast, everything that we're doing, we're going to do it from the depths of our heart. And that's how I, Taylor, am wired.
I love that, Coach. We've been doing this a long time. I mean, a long time. Like I don't know what our episode count is now, but it's what, 150, somewhere around there. I don't know. That's probably the best answer we've got for how are you wired. I mean, that was that was well done.
Yeah.
And it's genuine too, because you know we've got to know each other through the recruiting. You recruited one of my guys, Justin King, and you were very honest. You were humble. Like to get like this was, it was dead on, and I love how you connected all those people to that word, and that was amazing. That was really good, Coach. Coaching's not for everybody. It's not for the sane. So what drew you into coaching? When did you realize, hey, this is what I want to do for a living?
Well, it started when I was about in the 11th grade, and I transferred to Winter Springs High School from Lake Mary High School. Again, I'm Florida through and through, right? I went to Lake Mary High School, Greenwood Lakes Middle School, the pride of Seminole County, if you will. And as I transferred to Winter Springs, I recognized that this coach was not like the last coach that I had. This coach was taking his team to the movie theaters. And I was like, why is he doing that? This coach was in the gym with his players at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was like, well, why is he doing that? This coach was taking kids home after school. I was like, why is he doing that? And so one day I mustered up enough courage. Travis Jones, if you don't know him, 6'4", menacing presence, state champion at Edgewater, took us to the state Final Four at Winter Springs, menacing presence. I asked him, I said, Coach, why are you doing that? He said, because my job is to impact you guys' lives. My job is to help you guys become better people through the game of basketball. And that just stuck with me. I hadn't had that in the high school setting up until that point. And so when Coach Jones did that for me, and he did that for the 14 other teammates that were on our team, it meant something to me. It stuck with me. So when I had my baby shower, guess who was there? Travis Jones, right? So like, this is somebody who's impacted my life so much that he's the reason that I'm coaching. And then you go to Eckerd College and you play for the most humble person in the world, Thomas Ryan. I will never forget this. Coach Ryan, we were playing the game. We were up by about 20, and we did a lot of winning at Eckerd, by the way. We were up by about 20, and somebody fell down, and there was sweat on the court. And Coach Ryan, the head coach at Eckerd College, took the towel out onto the court while the game was going on, and he was wiping it up. He stopped coaching to go wipe up. I said, if this man can care this much about the kids on our team and the other team, that's somebody that I want to be like. So those two people right there are the main reason that I got into coaching, along with the fact that when I got to 11th grade, I realized very quickly you're not going to the NBA. And if you want to play or be around the sport for a little bit longer, then you should probably get into the coaching aspect of things.
That's a terrific story. I got a Travis Jones story when I was at St. Leo. So this is like 01 to 03, somewhere in there. We went over to recruit, and a guy named Darius Washington played at Edgewater, and I think he went to Memphis as a player. But we were in the gym, and it was an open gym. This is back when you were allowed to have, I don't know if you're allowed to, honestly, but open gyms had, everybody was there. So kids from, school A, school B, all these kids were there. So it was a perfect environment as a college coach to go. Well, after the workout, Coach Jones, who just, menacing guy if you didn't know him, but terrific, very humble, nice guy if you do. He goes, hey, you want to go get some pizza later? And I said, that sounds good. So we go and get pizza. And as we're at the pizza joint right by the school, I don't know what it was called, in walks Tubby Smith. In walks John Calipari. In walks a couple other high school coaches. In walks Tony Harvey, who was at Mizzou at the time. All these dudes are walking in there. And it was just the coolest experience, just to be a fly on the wall. And that, I think Darius Washington's dad was in there too. So that made it even more interesting. So, because, I mean, and I love just telling the one story. It was when Mizzou was going through all the hardships, when everybody was accusing him of cheating. Tony Harvey had to leave. He leaves and leaves money on the table for his portion of the bill. And as he leaves and goes, Calipari grabs the money and he gives it to the dad and he goes, here you go, courtesy of Mizzou. Don't tell anybody. And I was like, wow, this is how it really goes down. Just Coach Jones, he was amazing, and knew him for a lot of years, followed him on Twitter. He did like the day count. I don't know if he still does that, but Guy was awesome. So let's segue though now to your coaching style. And first want to ask, what is that style? How when you're in the gym, what are you taking pride in?
There's three things I really try to do for our student athletes. And the first thing is I try to give them my full and undivided attention when I'm with them. So I'm putting my phone down. I'm taking my watch and putting it on the table because you get alerts on your watch. I'm giving them my full undivided attention for that 20, 30 hour, whatever segment that is. That's the first thing I'm doing. The second thing that I'm doing is I'm being very honest with them to ensure that we're getting intentional work. If something is not up to the standard that our program has set, then we'll just do it again, right? Our coach talked about this today, and it was so simple, but it was so efficient. I think Ben McCullum is the one who said it. He said, the most selfish thing you can do is not hold somebody accountable and not tell them the truth because you're scared of how they're going to feel about you. And it's taken me a while. And I'll be honest, this is a little bit of vulnerability. I've been called a people pleaser in my time. And that's something that I had to work on because I don't like people to be upset with me, right? But what I have found as I've gotten older is you can still be honest with people and you can still demand things from them without being demeaning, right? So I try to give them undivided attention. I try to be honest with them. And then the last thing I try to do is I try to build them up. Okay. We had a kid named Drew Pember who came to us from the University of Tennessee. And our whole sales pitch to him was we're going to take you from where you are at Tennessee and we're going to make you like an NBA 2K created player, right? So every single day you're going to get in the gym one-on-one with myself and we'll have a manager there rebounding and we're going to make you into the player that you want to become. We can't do that if I'm not as honest as I possibly can be with you. We can't do that if you don't have my undivided attention. And we can't do that if I'm not committed to helping you become the best possible player that you can. And so those are the three things that as I am trying to coach our players, I really try to focus on. And that's, I think, been successful thus far. We'll see if it continues moving forward.
Yeah, that people pleasing part is a tough one, and it seems to be for most people that we get better with that at age. Like we realize and understand that we're not doing, our players any justice by not being honest. And it may sting at that initial, but and they may not like you at that moment, but they'll appreciate it later down the road for sure. And that's tough to do. Woody, can you talk about some of your responsibilities when it comes to the recruiting, like, identifying prospects, even scout? Like, how does that look like for you guys?
I'll go with the first part of that first. You talked about recruiting. That is probably the toughest aspect of coaching that people don't really talk about. Like they think you just go and these players just kind of show up and they want to come to Asheville, which sometimes that's true, right? Sometimes that's true. I think what's changed now is that there's access to everybody. So for example, um, social media has opened up the floodgates of access to people. Okay. So instead of it being like I used to have to call Miles Mayfield's cell phone, and that's the only way that I could talk to him, people can DM him on Instagram. They can send him a message on Snapchat. They can send him a direct message on X. They can do those different things. And so they might not have had his phone number, but they can still get in contact with him, right? So like now it's an information battle. Who can gather the most information, the most up-to-date, accurate, and timely information on a prospect? Okay, like you have to have that accurate, up-to-date, and timely information. Because if you don't, then you might think that you're in one position and you end up being in a completely different spot in the recruitment. So that is probably the most difficult part is now everybody has access to these recruits and the people around them.
Woody, real quick. What kind of information are you trying to make sure you have the most up to date on?
Yeah, so there's three things I really try to find out. Number one, who's helping this person make the decision? Right, I'll use Justin King for an example. It was his father. It was him, his father, and Coach Billy Teeton. Those were the three people that I needed to talk to. And if not every day, then every other day. And I had to make that a priority. Okay, I had to understand that. The second thing was, does this person want to commit early or do they want to commit late? Assuming that we're recruiting them starting off in the summer. Is this somebody who is trying to push this thing out to the late signing period because they want to garner more offers? Or are they serious about making a decision now? That is a crucial piece of information. And then the last thing is like, who is this person? Right? Like if I talk to just Billy Teeton trying to figure out who Justin King is, he's going to tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly because him and I had that relationship. because he knew Ryan Ritter. So he wasn't going to lie to Ryan Ritter because he knew that that would come back on him, and his word was important to him. Right, Coach Billy?
Absolutely.
What was important to him. So like that is a part of the accuracy of the information that we're trying to find. Now, if we talk to some of the other coaches around him, they might say, oh, man, he's the hardest worker that I got. He's the best kid that I have. He's this. And that might not have necessarily been true. Now, with Justin King, all of those things were true. But at the end of the day, people will tell you what you want to hear because they want so badly for their kid to get recruited. And so like that's one of those are, I would say, some of the most important things that we ask, because the talent piece is the talent piece, right, Coach Joe? Like you can look at the stat sheet and see what they're capable of. And you're not looking at points, you're looking at other things like rebounds. When I go watch an AAU game, I'm charting deflections. Like that's what I'm charting. Like I'm charting like how many times did this point guard make them turn in the backcourt throughout this game? And those are also great conversation pieces that we use with our recruits as well. Something that's a little bit different for us, right? Most coaches go and just tell them how great they're. Hey man, you only had 3 deflections this game. And you want to be a Division I mid-major plus point guard. You only had 3 deflections in the game where you played 35 minutes, 34 minutes. That's not good enough. And so those are ways that we try to differentiate ourselves in recruiting. I mean, that's one of my responsibilities as the connector for our staff and these players is to really get in there with the kids and the people around them and ensure that we're in a good place, not just from a relationship aspect, but from an information aspect as well.
Do you think, like, because it is so open that there are so many vessels to communicate, that now, like, honesty, like, being upfront, I mean, you have to be, like, there's no, like, we can't, like, hide these things anymore. It's like there's no reason to, like, sugarcoat, right? I mean, am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're not wrong, but it still happens, right?
Yeah,
And it definitely still happens. And coaches oftentimes will tell the player what they want to hear more than telling them the truth. And I think that's been something that's helped us because we've got a lot of testimonials, man. And if you look at the transfer portal and you look at our rate of guys who have transferred out that have been like good players, there's only really been 2 in our 6-year span that have left that we've been like, dang, probably didn't want that one. But on the flip side of that, they weren't really about the same things that we were about, right? And when those situations happen, you can tell that like, man, these kids really enjoy it here. And why do they enjoy it here? Because our coaching style, like we said, is very direct, it's very honest, it's very intentional with our communication, and it's very, very much so like a relationship oriented type of coaching, right? Like that's everything now is quote unquote transactional. Like everybody uses that word. We don't tend to follow those rules, man. Everything about us is transformational, whether you're with us for 8 months or like Tajon Jones, 7 years. Everything is going to be transformational. We're going to try to change you into the best version of you and into the best version of our team as well.
Well, and then if you're being straightforward and doing those things, I think your people, one of you or your staff or the player is going to realize that's not the place for them. And
Yes.
if they want the smoke blown up their behind, they need to go to where that's going to happen, because it doesn't sound like that's going to happen with y'all. So that great testament for how you've been successful in climbing the Big South and kind of taking care of it. All right. So now recruiting, we got it. Now you're with your own team. There's a lot of talk about how a lot of teams, maybe coaching staffs, chart different things of their own team, or, so self-scouting. Some teams are heavy self-scouting, some are heavy opponent scout. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Where are you at the self-scout? Like, so where are you as a staff, as an individual, in a self-scout of your team?
I don't think I understand that question.
So you guys had a practice
Okay.
or a game,
Okay.
and you go back in, you're going to evaluate the tape. You're going to figure out what happened. Like I've heard staffs.
What do I do in those instances?
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing in that process?
Sorry for not understanding. I
I must not have said it right.
Yeah. So for the last 6 years, I've helped coach on the offensive side of the ball, been the offensive coordinator, if you will. And we finished top 15 in the country in scoring this past year. So every year, after every game, I charted 3 things. Number one, what was our sprint rate? Okay. Did we sprint every single time down the court? That was my job. I would go back and I would watch the film. I'd say, all right, this person sprinted. I don't know. Let me rewind it. Let me rewind it back and see if, nope, that's not a sprint. And I would grade it 1 or 0. Okay. And let's say that there was 30 opportunities to sprint. If somebody went 24 for 30, then that's what's that? Divided by 8, 3, or divided by 6, 3, whatever that is, whatever percentage that is. Dang, please scrub that off the math part. But whatever percentage that was, that would go up on the screen the next day after the game. Okay. The other thing that we would chart that I was responsible for charting was shot quality. And we have a 4-shot quality system. 1, shots that we don't ever want to take unless it's the end of the shot clock. All right. 1-footed runners, bad players that don't shoot a lot of threes, shooting threes, shots that are selfish when somebody else is open. Those will be considered shot quality 1. Shot quality 1s are the lowest. Shot quality 2, it's an okay shot. I'm okay with it. I don't love it. If we take a ton of these, then we're not going to win the basketball game. Shot quality 2s, we do not want to be taking a ton of shot quality 1s and 2s. Those are like mid-range contested pull-ups, post-ups where there's somebody open on a kick out. I'm in transition and I go off 1 foot. I can make this layup, but if I go off 2, I can get fouled and make the layup. Shot quality 2s, right? Don't want a ton of those. Shot quality 3s, these are shots that we'll take. Shot fake sidestep 3 from a really good shooter. A really good driver getting his feet 8 feet from the basket and being able to push shot it into the rim. Shot quality 3s. Shot quality 4s, that's catch and shoot 3s, transition, fast break layups, a really good post player with a guard on him shooting over his left shoulder. We chart those after every single game, and that was my responsibility. And then the last thing that we graded and I was responsible for was our offensive rebounding as well. So were we going to the offensive glass? At what rate were we going to the offensive glass? Did the people that were supposed to go to the offensive glass, did they go to the offensive glass? The ones that weren't, were they getting back on defense like they were supposed to? So those are the 3 things that I did chart. Now that I've moved to the defensive side of the ball, things that I'm charting in practice now is strictly effort plays, right? So like if you don't give effort, you owe us something. And I get to define what effort is, which is awesome. The other thing that I'm charting is deflections. Are you getting your hands on the basketball? Like that is extremely important to us. And the last thing that we're charting this year and doing a much better job of is fouls. Just like dumb fouls. That's one area we're really trying to cut down on. We'd rather make somebody make a contested shot over us than just foul them and send them to the free throw line or add another foul onto the clock. I'd rather let somebody get by me and I have to catch them in our pressure defense than foul them 96 feet from the basket or 93 feet from the basket. And now they got another foul towards the bonus count. So those are the 3 things that I'm trying right now in practice.
What do you guys do to build that ability to contest tough 2s, to make it tough 2s without fouling? What do you guys do in practice to help that out?
Yeah, Coach Morrell is a mastermind when it comes to scouring his resources to come up and develop new drills for us, right? And he'll go get the information, he'll bring it back to us as a group, and we'll make it ours. So we do a lot of drills that, number 1, they end with the guard getting the 2 feet and having to pivot and pivot and pivot. And we make our people that are guarding him stay squared up and foul him with our chest as opposed to swiping down. And if you swipe down, just go ahead to the side and just go ahead and push the prowler. It's okay. Nobody's mad at you. We still love you, but we've got to hold you accountable. So that's one thing that we do. The other thing is we put them in uncomfortable situations defensively to where they got to make a decision. And if you make the wrong decision, it's okay. But if you foul, now you've made 2 wrong decisions. And we don't want to compound our mistakes. The last thing that we do that I think is really good is we do this drill where we work on closeouts every day, but there's 4 different series within that closeout series, where we literally work on contesting in different ways without fouling. And I think that's really helped us drop that number from where we were a lot lower. It's hopefully this year coming up.
All right, so let's talk about opponents now. Some staffs have everybody doing something with each game, and some staffs have it's your scout. Like the staffs I've been on, it was my scout where we played Coastal. That was me. Someone else's was Charleston. How does your staff operate?
Again, got to give credit to Coach Morrell for being different, right? Like that, the way that you explained it is how most people do it. And again, for the last 6 years being the offensive coordinator, my number 1 focus was the offense and like how are we going to score versus his defense. So I would type up a 1-page sheet and it would have the opponent's ball screen defense. It would have their zone defense. It would have a gap team or a deny team. It would have their foul rates. It would have ways that we can exploit them. There's like 4 or 5 things that I really tried to push in front of coach in ways that we can hurt them. And then at the bottom of it, I would just give him 5 to 7 play suggestions, right? Like this is what I think that you should be looking to try to run versus this team. So if it's a team that hard hedges, great. We can really hit them in the short roll and play 4-on-3 from there because our forwards are really skilled. If it's a team that switches a lot, fantastic. We're going to put this guy in these actions and get this 5'9" point guard on our 6'4" guard on the, like, that's the stuff that I was responsible for getting to Coach Morrell. Now, in addition to that, Coach Morrell also really trusted my ability to scout the other team's plays. So I had every scout, Joe. Like, I had every scout. So offensively, I did that for every single game. And I flipped or alternated with one of our other assistants, and we did every other game throughout the entire year from a scouting perspective. And then what I'm looking for when I'm scouting them is not the plays that they run, not how many times they run it. We're really looking for concepts, right? And the thing that I think makes us unique is we press. So you're not going to get to run all of your cute stuff because you're going to get the ball over the court with 18 seconds left, and now you're trying to get into your offense. So that cute little box set that you want to run, you're not able to get to that, right? And so what we have to figure out is, all right, now, is this going to be a post touch game where we need to really focus on post defense? Is it a pin down and flare screen game? Is it a ball screen game? Is it a dribble drive game? And so that's the way that we present it to our players. And I think that nowadays, less is more, man. Less is so much more. And the less information you can give them, the more they'll be in attack mode. And that's all we really want for our players, is to make sure that they're ready to attack at all times.
Of that, and it's the important less. It's like, give us what's really important. Give me the meat and potatoes and not all the other stuff. And it's so critical. Can you talk a little bit about player development for you guys? What does that look like? And how is your role in that?
Yeah, so coach breaks us up into, I've got my position group, and I played point guard at Eckerd. I was okay. I'm a really good passer, and I made our forwards look really good. So because of that, Coach Morrell decided that I get to work with the forwards, and I'm so excited. So I've been working with them for about 3 or 4 years now. It allowed me to work with Drew Pember and Nick McMullen and Greg Gann and some of the other terrific forwards that have come through here. But my role is to make sure that the forwards in practice are as good as they possibly can be. And like, a lot of times people think, oh, they need to be able to finish around the rim. No, our forwards play out on the court, coach. Like, you would appreciate, and Justin King would love to play in this because they have the ball in their hands so much. And so when we're doing our individual workouts outside of practice with the forwards, I make sure that we're doing ball handling every single day because they have the ball so much. So they got to be able to catch it and dribble. They've got to be able to catch it, dribble, and make a one-handed pass. Catch it and dribble and make a two-handed pass. Catch it and spin and go the other way and throw a bounce pass, right? Because our forwards are what we call our quarterbacks. They're triggers, right? They're triggers. And we allow them a ton of freedom. And so I'll give you an example of what we're going to do tomorrow with our forwards. All right, I got 2 forwards coming in tomorrow for about 25 minutes of work because we're in our 4-hour window right now. And so we can only have them on the court for 4 hours. So we do very small workouts with them throughout the week. So tomorrow we'll start with some touch shot finishes around the rim, and then we'll do 5 minutes of strictly ball handling, and then we'll go ball handling to finishes. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll do real live, because I try to do them 2 at a time. We'll do real live catch and finish versus live defense. Now, this isn't like I'm trying to beat each other up. This is, I'm coming off a ball screen, I catch it on the roll, and the help is here. Now what? Right. And so you got 2 dribbles to make a decision. You got to make it read. Is this catch it and push shot? Is it, do I catch it and I go to my left and go finish? Is it I catch it and shot? Like, I've got to be creative. And the only way that you can really replicate game like, situations is to put them in situations that they're going to be in the game. And so those are the things that we really try to focus on with the forwards. Now, I am responsible for a specific faction of guys in my academic group as well, who happen to be guards, and that I was really influential in recruiting. And I make sure that I spend time working them out too. And we really work on 2 things: cutting hard, 3 things: finishing at the rim, and the ability to make shots, right? Like, that to me is the difference maker in college basketball, is can you make open catch and shoot threes? And if you can do that at a high level, the best teams that we've had have shot 38 and higher, right? Like, if we can shoot 38 plus from the 3, we're going to have a really good team. And so that is what we're trying to get our players now to really lock in on, is every single shot rep that you take in practice, in our individual workouts throughout the week, we've got to make sure that it's intentional rep, because we only have so much time that we don't want to waste it.
Do you do any team stuff right now in that 4 hours?
Yeah, we do mostly team stuff. I'd say we do 3-hour workouts a week. So like hour, maybe hour 15, because that leaves that extra time for us to be able to get in there as coaches and do our individual workouts with them 2-3 times a week as well.
All right. So we've heard so much about coaching. We've heard so much about your relationships, and that's all, like, it's been amazing. But I think, like you said, you were in Florida recently, and that was during your vacation, right? Like college basketball, your vacation now is whatever this last dead period was before students arrived is your time off.
Correct.
So it's so consuming, but we would love to hear how you find balance, because no matter what the level, it could be consuming. Obviously, it's a lot more now with your, the transfer stuff, but how are you finding life balance?
I'll be really honest with you. I haven't yet. I haven't yet. And I haven't been forced to yet. Right. So I recently got engaged and she lives in a different state. So it's just me right now. So that's going to change very quickly when she moves up here at the end of the month, right? And now, when I say I haven't found it, I don't mean like, oh, I'm always basketball all the time. It's all I ever think about. But it's more along the lines of I don't have too many other hobbies, right? Like I enjoy spending time with people, and Asheville's got a really good beer scene, so I might venture out and go to a couple of the breweries on a Saturday and Sunday. But outside of that, man, I'm just so consumed with winning, and I'm so consumed with helping our players grow that, you know, I don't know if balance is necessarily attainable. Now, I don't allow myself to at midnight I'm taking recruiting calls, or 1 a.m, like I'm in the gym with a player. Like I'm not doing that, right? Like I'm not staying in the office till 10 o'clock at night. Like I'm very efficient with my time. But when I come home, I'm watching film, right? I got the TV on, I'm writing notes based off what I'm seeing on the film that I'm watching. I'm calling a recruit, I'm texting a recruit, whatever it is. I'm not letting it consume me to the point to where it's all that I think about, all that I do. Like I still talk to my mom every single day. Like young kids, if you ever watch this, like call your mother every day. Larry Shire says, don't thumb her. Don't thumb her. Don't text her. Call her. Call your mother every single day. And that's something that's really stuck with me. He's another, person that's been, influential in my life. I still talk to my parents every single day. Like sister coaches at Avery Riddle. Like I make sure that I call and I check in on her. So, like there's things that I do, and I have relationships in the community, and I try to volunteer weekly. I work with some young females in the community on basketball and stuff. Like I try to be an active member of our Asheville community. But again, like all of that stuff comes back to trying to make the university look good. So again, that balance aspect of it, I'm still trying to master it. I haven't allowed it to consume me to where it's all I think about, but it's 9 o'clock on a Wednesday and the regular crowd shuffles in. Let me back. All right, Joe got that one. That was good. That was good. But
Piano Man documentary was really
That's
good.
it.
come on now. But like, this is what I enjoy doing. Now again, about to have a baby, fiance's going to move up here. I'm very confident that my priorities will change. Very
No
confident.
doubt. Yeah. Once you bring a child into the world, it's another, yeah, perspective change for sure. No doubt.
Yeah. I'm actually welcoming it and looking forward to it.
It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. I'm happy for you. Listen, coach, you've been amazing. I have a leadership question, and it's a tough one. And I wouldn't say it's a tough one. It's people vary on this idea. Can you develop leadership within your players? Can you develop a leader, or do you feel like that's just an ability that's given?
Well, I think that there's two ways that you can look at it, right? Anybody is a leader. Everybody is a leader in their own right. I think that the excellent and supreme leaders, some of that stuff is born, right? For example, Coach Morrell is a excellent leader. Ryan Ritter, phenomenal leader. Dan, those guys are born with that stuff, right? But for players that play for them and assistants that work under them, their job is to create other leaders, right? And it's their job to help them pull out things and see things from a different perspective that allow them to understand, wait, I can lead people too. And so I do think that, phenomenal leaders, like the greatest of the great, they're born with that stuff. But, these keynote speakers wouldn't be getting paid $15,000, $20,000 to give leadership speeches if other leaders weren't able to be created. So I do think that there's an opportunity for leaders to be created. You know, like if you can create a better basketball player by simply going into the gym and working on your skills, I think that there's certain leadership aspects that you can work on as well that can help you become a better leader. And no, it's not easy. It's actually very difficult. But I do think that it's not out of the realm of possibility to create a leader at all.
In your journey, would you have done or would you have liked to seen something earlier to help build your leadership style? Was there anything that maybe looking back, man, I wish I had that earlier?
Yeah, I think that I lacked humility when I was younger, which is why that's one of my major core values and how I'm wired now. I lacked humility because everywhere I had been, I could charm my way out of situations with my personality. I felt like I was above the law because I was so good at basketball, or I was such a good person, or I was so smart. I felt like I was above. I felt like I was greater than. And when I got to college, it snapped on me, right? And it backfired on me. And I had a real life situation come up where my humility got me into a situation that I couldn't charm my way out of, or my lack of humility, I should say, got me into a situation that I couldn't charm my way out of. And that moment taught me for the rest of my life that this is a skill that all great leaders need. Because just as soon as it's given to you, it can be taken away from you. So I would say for myself personally, having that humility at a younger age, I think it would have really benefited me in my life.
That's well said. I think a lot of us could take that lesson and apply it because, yeah, people come to you and say, "I lost my job," and when you're younger, you're like, "I've never lost a job. Like I ain't never been fired. I'm not going to be fired. Yeah, I'll tell you, that's how good I am and how smart I am and how I can talk my way out of it." But the reality is, it's coming for all of us at some point in some capacity, whether we leave it or whatever. But that's awesome, Coach.
Yeah, man. I just
What do you
feel
learn? Go ahead.
like a lack of humility, right, leads to a lack of appreciation. And then with the lack of appreciation, it leads to a lack of work, right? And so, like, those three things very much align. And people that lack humility oftentimes lack appreciation for what they have. And I don't think that you can function at a super high level if you don't appreciate what you have, whether that's working at Safety Harbor High School, or playing at Winter Springs High School, or coaching at Eckerd College versus coaching at Kentucky. Like, be appreciative of what it is that you have and allow that humility to just overtake you and then make you be the best that you are at what you're doing right now.
I might make that a poster, Coach. Lack of humility equals lack of appreciation equals lack of work. I
Hmm,
love that.
hmm.
I might make that a sign in my office or a shirt or something. That's big time. What are you learning right now? What are you studying? What are you listening to? What are you reading? What you got?
Yeah, there's a book called Staying Sane in an Insane World that was given to me by one of our friends of the university. And it's basically a leadership style book that is from his perspective. And it talks a lot about the difficulties of leadership, kind of some of the things that we talked about here, like the accountability piece, like the tough conversations, the ability to have these conversations with these people and still make them trust you or have them trust you moving forward. Like, that's one thing that's heavy on me, is just the ability to have those tough conversations, to be demanding without being demeaning. Like, those are things that I'm continuing to try to learn now. And that's from just like a book and reading standpoint. I'm trying to listen to more financial podcasts. As I'm getting ready to have a family of my own, I want to make sure that I'm setting us up for things that are coming, in the future. So that's something that's, extremely important to me. And then the last thing that I'm learning is we're implementing some different things defensively than we've done in the past. So I'm talking with other college coaches about how they have done the things that we want to do at a high level and then trying to implement that into our program.
Amazed how willing coaches are to share, like in our business. Does that amaze you?
It does, honestly. It really does, because, the guys that I'm talking to will never play against,
Mm,
right? It's easy for them to share with me. But some of the guys that are doing the same stuff, we will play against. And like, we have played against. And they're still like, hey man, like, we play you once a year, but if I can help you for the rest of your life, like, I'm gonna do that. And so, like, we're gonna have a coaches clinic here in October 4th. And we're gonna have coaches from everywhere come, like Division 1, Division 2, JUCO, the high school. Everybody is welcome to come. Like, we'll share our stuff, because at the end of the day, you might learn how to teach it, but you'll never be able to teach it the way that we do. You
right.
never teach it the way that we
Or
do.
it
And
just
it's
doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. Like,
Yeah,
you learn all these things, it's gotta fit to what you have, you know what I mean? I just think our fraternity, like, it's pretty cool.
it's
Just
fun.
doing this podcast and talking to people and hearing how willing, our fraternity is to share and learn, and I just love that. Coach, you've been awesome. We're gonna knock you out with some tough, quick questions here to finish out, man.
I wish we had some music for this. We
Yeah,
started
we
this like a
do
news segment, like wah, 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 like quick shots
we
coming. Like
need something. So the Big South Conference, High Point has had, pretty good success the last 2 years, been pretty good. So we got some questions here. First one here. Best player in the conference.
Toya Solomon.
All right. That was quick. That was quick and fast. All right. Best team in the conference.
I don't know. I can't answer that. Truthfully, I don't know what other teams have. I really like what Asheville has, but I'm not ready to say that because I haven't seen what other teams have.
I love it, Coach. Asheville, the best team in the conference. Let's go. We're making a tournament run. I love it. Let's do it. All right. Best coach in the conference.
That's a tough question.
That is a
Coach
tough
Morrow
one.
obviously is a phenomenal coach, but the coach at PC does so much more with so much less that I'm never cease to be amazed by him. His name is Quentin Farrell. He's a really, really, really. He finished third in Coach of the Year last year. I would give him probably the nod because he does so much more with less.
I love that answer. The guys that we respect, man, you see their teams, you're like, man, how are they in this game? But those guys can coach their butts off. You're off the hot seat, man. That was it. There's some Big South questions for
Hey
you.
man, I'm honest. I'm a truth teller. I'm a truth teller.
I love that. Yeah, yeah. It might sting Coach Morrell a little bit, but he'll agree with it. It's all good.
Here we are. Here we are.
I mean, how nice is that High Point Arena? I didn't work in it. We didn't have an arena like that when I mean, I think it was the same arena, but not the same bells and whistles.
It is not the same arena. It's as nice as advertised. It's as nice as advertised. They've done a phenomenal job. Again, they finished first the last 2 years. We finished second the last 2 years. And the year before that, we actually finished first, and they finished, down at the bottom. But they brought in Coach Huss, who was incredible. Now he's the head coach of Way at Creighton. So yeah, that facility is state of the art, man. The jumbotron is it's awesome. They got a live band in there. They got a live DJ. I give credit where credit is due. They've done a really good job of taking our program and really elevating it.
Well, just think when I worked there with Bart Lundy, who's now at Milwaukee, and Josh Schertz was an assistant with me, who's now at St. Louis. My pay was $0 as the third assistant, and I had the vice president of administration, the guy in charge of all the facilities and all the stuff, calling me on a weekly basis, asking how camp was going to be so they could make their budget for their maintenance on their campus.
Times have changed.
So things have changed, I think.
I can promise you they are not conversation now, my brother. I can promise you that. That also tells me how you're wired. The fact that you worked for $0.00, man.
Yep. And then good old days. So, Coach, thank you so much, man. We are really pumped to share this. You knocked my socks off. So many notes. We could talk about so many more things, and probably will. We'll probably have to give you a call and say, hey, can you clarify this? Because that was amazing. So thanks so much, man, for joining us.
No problem. I really appreciate you guys doing this and giving people the opportunity to share their stories on these platforms. One thing that I really enjoy about this is the honest banter that we can have, right? Like all of us have been coaches and helped other people before, but I picked up something from both of you guys tonight, and I hope that you guys picked up something from me, and hopefully the three of us can touch somebody else that's out there that hopefully watches this later on.
Doubt. Well said, Coach.